Thank you for watching the week 1 supplementary video covering our reading. We'll just highlight some of the key points from the reading. So in chapter 1, we are introduced to marketing, the definition, the standard definition provided by the American Marketing Association, that it's the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value. And these offerings have value for customers, for clients, for partners, or for society at large. So it's important to note that there's an exchange going on when we're talking about marketing. One party is giving up something of value in hopes of getting something of value from the other party. And value is based on the perception of what that offering gives as benefits. So customers perceive products differently, so the level of benefit one customer perceives may be different. So that customer may have a different perception of value for a particular product. So it's important to understand for your target audience what they perceive as value in your offering. And then value is essentially the ratio of the benefits you receive to the cost it takes for you to get that offering. So obviously cost isn't a factor, and cost can be the money you paid for it, but it also can be the time you invest in searching for it, or any other things that you pretty much have to expend to get the item or the object, or let's call it the offering, which could be a product or a service. So another important concept in marketing is this notion of the marketing mix. And you may have heard of the 4 P's of marketing in your prior classes: product, price, place, and promotion. These are really the key levers that marketers can pull to impact the decision-making process of consumers in hopes of getting them to perceive value in their products and to want to do that value, that exchange, where they're handing over their hard-earned cash to purchase the product or the service that's being offered. So the marketing mix is a big part of marketing. For this particular class, because we're developing a marketing communication plan that's focusing on the promotion P, we won't be doing a whole lot with the product or price or place P's, but it's still good to know that, and it's still covered in the reading, and you'll still see questions about it in the quizzes, and it's still an important part of marketing, but for the purposes of our plan, we're focusing in on the promotion P. So, integrated marketing communications, as you know, is important because it allows companies to coordinate their various promotional vehicles so that they can communicate a clear, succinct, consistent, coherent message to their consumers. And as we know, there are lots of different distractions in the market and lots of different voices. There's noise in the marketplace, so consumers need to hear that consistent, clear message so that they can remember your brand and hopefully buy your brand, your product in the future. And so it's important to have a comprehensive plan that will allow you to reach consumers via multiple touch points in the places that they are, so that they can get your messaging in a clear, consistent manner. And there are a number of ways to do that. At a higher level, these are the key aspects of the promotional mix: advertising, direct marketing, any type of communication directly with the consumer, whether it's through direct mail or some other avenue. Digital internet marketing, we know, is huge and continues to grow. Sales promotion, any type of short-term incentives to get consumers to buy now. Publicity and PR, getting some good press and sometimes bad press can still help, unfortunately, but press or even just putting out information about your company to sort of enhance your image through public relations. And personal selling is still a big part of the promotion mix. And if we break this out even further, we'll see that there are even smaller buckets that, advertising might be through broadcast media, it might be print media, it might be through out-of-home media. Digital might be through internet, websites, it might be through social media, or it could even be mobile and apps, and all of that's continuing to grow. And there are also other avenues that we may not always think about, like product placement in televisions or other types of sponsorships, and even word of mouth. Even though you can't necessarily control that, you can influence it in the way you advertise your product. And of course, anything in the store at the point of purchase, any types of displays, And even your packaging is a very important aspect of your marketing, and is included in that overall promotional mix of ways that you can actually reach the consumer. Oops, I went the wrong way. Sorry about that. Or did I? Did I go the wrong? No, I didn't. Sorry. All right. So IMC is important, and throughout this course project, you will be developing an integrated marketing communication plan for our client. You'll be planning, you'll be executing. Well, you won't be executing, but you'll discuss the way that it can be executed. You'll discuss how it will be evaluated and controlled, what will be tracked, what are the measures of success. You'll be discussing that in your paper, but you won't actually be carrying out those activities per se. But you'll be going through this process of developing this integrated plan that can help the client achieve the goals that are set out. Now, integrated marketing communications fits in the broader aspect of marketing in that, as I said earlier, we're focusing in on the promotions part of it, but really there's product, price, and placement that are all part of marketing. And if you take a step back and look at, as an organization, you usually typically start out with, really even before this chart even before the top of this chart, there are clear goals set by the organization on an organization-wide or corporate-wide level. The marketing team will then translate those goals and objectives into marketing objectives and goals. And then from there, they'll do a lot of analysis. And you will be doing that analysis as part of your project, because you can't really build a foundation of a communication plan without having done that upfront work. So you'll be doing that analysis of conducting the situation analysis, understanding the current communication process within that organization, what they've already done, even the external factors. You'll be doing all of that analysis. In terms of the budget determination, you won't do that just yet. We're going to do that at the end and really develop the budget to support the strategies and the objectives and strategies you're proposing in your plan. So we'll do that later. When it comes to developing the integrated marketing communications programs, you'll be doing that throughout the course, but it'll be a little bit later when we actually hit on starting to recommend specific tactics in terms of advertising and how you're going to message and the type of media that you'll use to reach the consumer. So in the beginning, we're focusing on laying that foundation. So once we've laid that foundation, you will do that, develop those integrated marketing communications programs, which includes the strategies of communication strategies, the media strategies, and the specific tactics you plan to use to reach the consumer. And then obviously implementing those strategies and then monitoring and evaluating. You will discuss how those strategies can be implemented and evaluated later on in the plan. As I said, so before we get to the point of developing our IMC plan, there's an established marketing plan with marketing objectives and goals. Because we don't have that, you are writing that. You are writing those marketing goals and those marketing objectives. And remember, the goals are more general and the objectives are more specific and measurable. And they have a time frame associated with them. And so ultimately, once you have that, you will incorporate that as you move forward into developing your plan. Another part of that initial foundation is analyzing the current situation. And that's what you'll be doing in that week 1 assignment. What's going on internally in the organization? What are the organization's strengths and weaknesses? What are some external factors, which I think I have a different slide for, but internally, what are the strengths and weaknesses? What are the resources the organization currently has? What are the capabilities? Anything that you can cover to help understand the internal workings of that organization in a way that will help you make decisions and recommendations moving forward. Once you've done that internal analysis, you're also doing external analysis to understand the opportunities and threats. So as you could tell, we did strengths and weaknesses internally. Now we're doing opportunities and threats. So a SWOT analysis is really what you're doing on the client to understand the current situation. You're looking at competitors. You're looking at your current customers. So, you'll see that as you go through the project, you'll be talking about the competition. You'll be talking about customers, current target. And even this environmental analysis is really just to understand the market. What market does our client compete in? And what data can you find on that market? There are oftentimes organizations, groups that will conduct data on a certain market because they have an interest in that particular market. So if you just search, you will likely find some sort of data that gives you a sense of what that market's like. How many, and not to, for example, just to give you an example, say we were working with a nonprofit that focuses on providing after school educational and mentoring opportunities for underprivileged communities. So you might research the after school market. You might research the tutoring market. And there's likely an organization out there that has done some research to understand how many services or organizations are offering tutoring nationwide. And that's the type of data that we need. And specifically, what are some of the trends in that market? That's what you'll be looking for our client, whoever our client is for the term. Now, once you've established those basic foundational, you've done that foundational work, you will then be in a better position to understand what you need to achieve with this marketing communication plan. So what are our objectives, and in terms of marketing, but also in terms of what we want to communicate. What type of message do we want to communicate, and what are we looking to achieve with that message? So that's an important part of integrated marketing communications is the message. What are you saying, and why are you saying it to those particular consumers? In our reading, they talk about the creative strategy and the media strategy. You should think about that as well. The type of appeal that you'll have in your communications. Are you going to use humor, or are you going to use a different type of appeal? And there are pros and cons to each. So go ahead and understand that from the reading and see how you could apply it within your project. And even the media strategy, choosing the exact channels that you will use to reach your consumers. How do you make those decisions? What strategies will you use to reach the consumers? And making sure to support any of these decisions that you include in your project. What's the support, the rationale behind it? And your book's a good reference for that, as well as everything else you're finding in your research. So monitoring and evaluation and control we do later in the course for the project, but it is part of this process, which is why we're talking about it up front. How well is our program performing, and what are the key metrics that we'll be tracking to evaluate how well our program is performing? And once we do those evaluations, how do we adjust when we find things may not be going according to plan? What will our contingency plans be to make sure that we can achieve the goals that we've set out to achieve and the objectives? So that's chapter 1, and I know that I have a time limit on these videos in terms of the size, so I'll